Before we start learning how to repair, upgrade or troubleshoot computers, there's something even more important we need to talk about. Safety. Working with computer hardware might seem harmless, but without proper precautions, you can easily damage equipment, lose important data, or even injure yourself. If the CompTIA A+ is a topic you are interested in, then you are at the right place. I'm James, and I'll be leading you through this journey. Remember, subscribe, like, and leave a comment. In this video, we're going to look at the basic safety procedures every IT technician should follow when working with computers and electronic equipment. These safety practices are part of the objectives for the CompTIA A+, developed by the IT Industry Association CompTIA, and they are essential skills that anyone starting a career in IT support. Cover topics such as how to protect computer components from damage during troubleshooting, protecting yourself from injury during troubleshooting, and safely disposal of components containing hazardous materials. Now, even if it's not on anyone's list of most dangerous jobs, IT technicians commonly find themselves in unsafe conditions. Important hazards include electrical shock, dust and debris, heavy objects and equipment, and materials that can be hazardous either during careless exposure or when improperly disposed of. For all sorts of safety-related procedures, it's important that you know the best practice to protect yourself, others, and valuable equipment from harm. Beyond that, you need to know organizational policies, governmental regulations related to any equipment, materials, and procedures in your workplace. Even if your actions are safe in themselves, failure to comply with policies and regulations can still get you into trouble. Depending on the workplace, you might be able to check formal policies or ask a safety officer, or you might have to perform your own research. The most common cause of damage to computer components during installation or repair is electrostatic discharge, or ESD. Damage occurs when one object builds up more electrons on its surface than another. When the two objects meet, the objects attempt to balance the difference in electrical charge by transferring electrons from the object with more to the object with less. When you are one of those objects, you'll sometimes feel an electrical or static shock. Be aware that you don't need to feel or see the static shock for the transfer of electrons to cause damage to sensitive computer equipment or components. A technician must consider both component handling and storage to ensure that components are not damaged. Now, there are several tools you can use to keep yourself and your equipment properly grounded. Now, one example is an anti-static bag. Anti-static bags are plastic bags used to store components that are sensitive to electrostatic discharge. Now, they are typically made from polyethylene or terephthalate, a PET, along with additives that protect it from holding a static charge. They also have a conductive layer that forms what is known as a Faraday cage around the component, protecting it from any electrostatic discharge occurring on the outside of the bag. ESD straps are devices worn by the user on the wrist or the ankle, and then attached to a ground source away from sensitive internal components. The most common ESD strap used in PSC repairs is the wrist strap. Any buildup of electrical charge on the user body is channeled through the strap on the user's wrist to the computer's metal case, protecting any internal components the user touch from static discharge. You wear an ESD wrist strap on the wrist of your non-dominant hand. For example, if you're right-handed, you wear the strap on your left hand. An ESD mat is a special electrically grounded mat designed to place computer equipment on while you are working. If you don't have any ESD device, you can protect your equipment by self-grounding. Now, self-grounding is where you touch a grounded metal object, such as a computer case, prior to working on sensitive components. This should be common practice regardless of whether or not you have an ESD device. The grounded metal object must be unpainted with a clear ground path. It's a quick and easy option, and many people build computers without taking any other precaution. However, there's a risk that self-grounding will not be enough to protect sensitive equipment. Finally, don't forget about electrical safety. Grounding is important for operating equipment and to prevent electrical shock during operation. Now, some specialized equipment may have grounding requirements in its setup instructions, but more commonly, it is provided through the ground wire of a 3-prong electrical outlet. So-called ground plug adapters can allow you to physically connect a grounded device to a non-grounded 2-prong outlet, but they are not safe and generally provide no actual grounding. Now, when building or construction or modifying without attention to building codes, even an outlet that looks grounded might not be. And if you have reason to suspect the ground line of an outlet might not be connected, an inexpensive receptacle tester will check for grounding as well as other safety issues. When working on computer equipment and peripheral devices, you need to keep yourself safe. Follow these guidelines to prevent injury. Disconnect the power before repairing a computer or other device. Electricity can be provided by a wall outlet or battery. It's just as important to remove the battery as it is to unplug a wall outlet. Remove loose items such as jewelry, scarves, ties that can get caught or bang on components. Remember to secure loose clothing. For example, placing a rubber band on your wrist if you're wearing a shirt with loose sleeves. Use proper lifting techniques when moving heavy equipment. Bend at the knees, squat to pick it up. Lift using your legs, not your back. Don't turn or rotate until you are fully upright. And if you are lifting large or bulking items, lift as a team. Be aware of weight limitations. Your company might have policies about maximum weight employees are allowed to lift unassisted. Use the proper tools such as a hand truck or mechanical lift to move heavier equipment. Be prepared for fires. For electrical fires, have a Class C fire extinguisher handy. They are made for fires involving electrical devices and their contents have passed the required electrical conductivity measurements. Fire extinguisher classes include Class A, which is for paper, wood and cloth. Class B, gasoline, solvents or propane. Class C, electrical equipment, and Class D for combustible materials. Secure loose cables out of the way. You need to make sure they are not causing a tripping hazard. Make sure you can't get a hand caught in a cable, which could cause you to pull the device, knocking it over into another component. Cable management could also include cable containment systems that help you to carefully route cables and ensure they do not pose a trip hazard. Wear safety goggles. Workplace eye injuries are common. If you're using chemicals, compressed air or heat to clean or repair a component or device, you should wear safety goggles to protect your eyes from cuts, scrapes and burns. Wear an air filler mask. If you're using chemicals or heat to clean or repair a component or device, you should wear an air filter mask to protect your lungs from any harmful fumes. Computers and peripheral devices are full of materials that are hazardous to humans and our environment. Before you dispose of a computer, device or individual component, check your local government regulation for disposal requirements. Many municipalities no longer allow you to throw these items into the trash. They must be taken to an appropriate recycling facility. The following items shouldn't be placed in the trash, regardless of local regulations. Batteries include heavy metals such as lead, cadmium, zinc, lithium, and mercury. If batteries are sent to the landfill, the battery casing corrodes and the metals can leak, causing soil and groundwater pollution. The same heavy metals can cause air quality issues if the batteries are incinerated. Printer cartridges are made up of complex combinations of plastics, metals, foam, ink, and toner, and this is not biodegradable. If sent to a landfill with other trash, they take up landfill space practically forever. When you recycle an ink or toner cartridge, manufacturers can reuse it up to 10 times without product degradation. Many toner dealers will pay you for used toner cartridges. CRT displays contain leaded glass, which if broken can cause soil and water contamination. Many states, local municipalities have banned CRTs from being collected with trash and require that you dispose of them through authorized recycling facilities. Cell phones and tablets often contain toxic materials, including a non-removable battery. Since they're small and easy to throw away, it's important not to put them in the trash. Some electronic stores or mobile device vendors will accept them for recycling, even if they don't accept larger electronics. Relatively modern devices in good condition can be donated to charity. If a device has any valuable data on it, perform a factory reset or physically destroy it before disposing of it. Be careful not to smash or puncture a device while a battery is still inside. And that brings us to the end of this video of safety. Understanding safety procedures is an essential part of working in IT. Protecting yourself, protecting the equipment, and protecting the environment should always be your first priority before starting any repair or maintenance work. The safety concepts we covered in this video are part of the objectives defined by CompTIA, and they form the foundation for working responsibly with computer hardware. Take a moment to review these principles, make sure you're comfortable with them, because they apply not only to the exam, but also in real-world environments. In the next video, we'll continue building your knowledge as we move deeper into the CompTIA A+ course. Again, reminding you that if you found this video helpful, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any upcoming lessons in this CompTIA A+ series. Thanks for watching. See you in the next lesson.